reflexes like a mongoose on amphetamines. Waving his Wilson wand. Super scintillating and sensational from Sosa. It's tennis near the gods. No mortal may approach.
Welcome back to Tennis Near the Gods. I'm Alex. I'm joined alongside my brother Nicholas. Today we're going to be recapping the events from last week, including New York Open, Rotterdam, and Buenos Aires, and we're going to be previewing Rio, Marseille, and the Delray Beach Open. So we're going to start off. We had a maiden ATP title for Riley Opelka in New York. Not really surprising there, to be honest, even though Riley is ranked 80-something, 87 or something like that. Courts played very fast this week. It's indoor hard.
But he had to battle back from what?
I mean, listen, he had very tough matches, but again, he was, in my opinion, a favorite going into the tournament. When you have a serve like that,
especially indoors.
And he's someone definitely to watch. You look at him, and everyone's gonna say he's a carbon copy of John Isner, but he's a little bit better. He did beat John Isner, but
twice now this year already.
But again, John Isner's not the same John Isner from last year. But his ground strokes, he's a little more comfortable there. But he also has no. He also has this. He has a clear identity of who he is. It's like John Isner, he could play a 30-ball rally, even though he had that in him. Riley Opelka, while he can do that, knows where his strengths lie. And in the big points, he's going for that big shot. He's not going to hang in the rally if he's forced to. He's going to find a way to pull that, like, to get into his strength, whether it's to come to net behind a forehand approach or whether it's to pull a trigger. And you saw it in the John Isner match. He came up with some big shots in some important points when it required him behind the baseline.
Yeah.
He had this one backhand line. I think it was on John Isner's match point, on John Isner's serve. He got a return back in. Isner hit an inside out, and he just went for broke, hit a backhand winner line.
His draw was fairly comfortable. I mean, he had a chance to win every match. None of the matches the competition was all that tough.
It's the New York Open. It's indoor hard.
He's
gonna have a shot at every single match.
Yeah.
He's got to serve. That's not saying much. And you also had a first-time person, Braden Schnurr, who was originally 154 in the world, came into this tournament. He made the finals.
Yeah.
College tennis player, played at UNC. He had a very impressive run all the way from qualies.
Francis Tiafoe lost first round to Jason Jung. That's important to know.
that again, this surface doesn't really mean much. Again, it's very fast. Tiafoe was very uncomfortable. A lot of players were uncomfortable. The ball slides a lot. It's very hard to, if you have a bigger swing, you're gonna struggle on that surface. So again, congratulations to Riley Opelka, and we're moving on to Buenos Aires, where we had Marco Cecchinato win the final in convincing fashion, 2-1 against Diego Schwartzman, or 1-2 actually.
Diego Schwartzman had a massive upset against Dominic Thiem.
I don't think so. I think Dominic Thiem came into this tournament hurt, still is a little bit injured. He struggled in that match. Definitely did not play well. He went up
6-2, 4-2.
But he was struggling the entire time, not playing good tennis. Neither was Diego Schwartzman, but he found a way to carve that one out. But I think this thing to take out of this is Marco Cecchinato on the clay he is one of the top 5 clay quarters in the world right now.
Top 5?
Top 5. You go Nadal.
We haven't seen anyone else.
You go Nadal, Thiem, Tsitsipas. You're going to throw Djokovic in there because Djokovic is good. Zverev is not on the level of consistent clay. I'm telling you.
Zverev's better than Cecchinato.
Cecchinato is playing, what we saw in Buenos Aires was top 5 level clay court tennis. I'd take
Nishikori over.
Not on clay. His patterns were unstoppable. His serve into his inside out with the backhand, he can drop shot. His creativity off of his backhand wing. He was, Schwartzman didn't play badly. He just had no idea what to do. He won Kekinata won 90% of the points off of his first serve and 75% off his second serve. I'm telling you, that what I saw was top 5 clay court tennis. And, especially for Kekinata, this is the time of year where he really needs to rack up points because he's going to have to defend in Roland Garros. There's going to be a ton of pressure there. Everybody's going to be watching to see if he can hold up. And he struggles on the hard courts. Last year, he only won 3 matches on hard courts. Yeah. 2 in Shanghai, and I forget where the other one was, but it was, again, at the end of the year. He did win a couple earlier this year in Doha to start off the season, but he did lose the first round in the Australian Open. So the clay court swing, this golden swing right now down in South America, he's playing Rio. It is where he needs to make his points. It really is. And then, of course, going into the European clay season.
And I think this Rio tournament, it's weaker than usual.
I mean, we'll go into that in a little second because we're going to continue wrapping up. But again, Dominic Thiem, a little bit injured. Again, nothing you can really take out of that. What else? Jaime Munar made the quarters, lost to Guido Pella in a match he should have won, had match points. Played very tentative, which is...
but still 2 very good wins for the year.
Yes, he beat Fabio Fognini, which is his biggest win to date.
Yep.
So, okay, we're going to move now into the 500, which happened last week, Rotterdam. Monfils beat Medvedev in the final, ending Medvedev's streak.
He beat
he's been on a
Stan Wawrinka in the finals.
Medvedev in the semis. But
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so takeaways from this. I mean, the draw really, I thought it was a bloodbath. So you had Berdych, who
he lost to.
He beat Gilles Simon in the first round, but I mean, you had so many good players. He lost to Shapovalov.
Yeah.
So many good players playing.
That was a good tournament for Shapovalov.
Stan Wawrinka coming through was very impressive. He played great tennis.
Very good tennis. And
again, I don't think he's
really
to the form where he was. And
no,
I don't think he's going to get. I think again the courts helped him out. They play very fast. His strokes are very compact, which can put a lot of when he clocks the ball, puts a lot of pressure. But again,
it's big for him to get 300 points. Definitely a lot of confidence beating a top 10 player.
Yes, I mean you could see what it meant to him.
Who's also very good.
You could see what it was meaning to him in the match. Beating Nishikori, he was getting extremely pumped up.
And he also beat Raonic indoors, and he beat Shapovalov, who had just beaten Berdych. So those are 3.
I know, I'm not taking that away, but I'm just saying it's different indoors and outdoors.
And Monfils is playing just some very good tennis, playing very smart, using tactics against Medvedev.
What tactics?
The drop shotting.
No, that was not part of it. But what was discovered earlier in the tournament, Medvedev struggled with the slice to the forehand. It just got a little uncomfortable. But his strokes not clean. But the guy battles. He goes to work. As you were saying, it looks like he's rolling balls. He stands far back behind the baseline. I say professional push, because he can come forward because he has that serve as a weapon, and it forces him to play offense off of it. But when push comes to shove, he is standing 10 feet behind the baseline and just finding a way to win points. And he doesn't. He's so lengthy that he's getting to everything.
Yeah. And he's taking the ball, when the ball, it feels below his knees.
I mean, you can't really see from the angle, but again, returning serve from way back. But it's been working. I thought in the Monfils match.
And it's indoors.
Again, Monfils is someone who is very tactically savvy. He throws many different looks at you. He was throwing the off-speed stuff with the slices, and then he can accelerate on a dime with his forehand. I mean, it just comes alive. And same on the backhand, he can lull you asleep and then hit you hard. And he has that variation. But I think what people have been struggling with Medvedev is that he slides the ball so well through the court. He plays very flat. It's very hard to drop shot. So when he's standing that far back, and you have to drop shot a ball that's sliding, and that's not. It's harder to carve out, harder to get as great feel. He's going to get there.
Yeah,
and then you saw it in the Verdasco match. I mean, Verdasco didn't know what to do. He would rip. Yeah, no. He was trying to punch holes through Medvedev. He's standing so far back that he can't do it. He has time to to fend those balls off, and then he threw in the drop shots. But again, Medvedev sliding that ball through, and it's fast and or hard, and it's hard to drop that ball short.
And moving on through the draw, you see Damir Zhumer. He upset Stefanos Tsitsipas. That meant a ton to him, especially having struggled late last year and beginning of this year. Really big for him. A huge win. Getting through his first wins of the year. So I think that he can build off of that. He's definitely not going to have the year that he had, last year or 2 years ago, where he won a 250 or two.
I mean, you never know. That he's just a giant question mark. Some days he shows up. He has great hands, very good variation, loves drop shotting, but it's also a grind. Can come forward very well. His biggest problem is his brain, his mentality. He's nuts on the court. But yeah, that was a great tournament for him. Again, I think in these 500s, Tsitsipas, he got broken at 6-5 in the third. Yeah. So I mean, for him, doesn't really matter. But that was a good tournament from him. So we'll move on, and we're going to preview the 250s and the 500. So we'll start off with Marseille. How about that? Where you have Tsitsipas, who heads the draw as the 1 seed. You have Borna as the 2, Shapovalov as a 4, Goffin as a 3. But you also have Joe-Wilfried Tsonga thrown in there as a wild card. Mm-hmm. You have,
and Tsonga's been playing some great tennis.
Monfils as a 7 seed. Got to the
quarters last week.
Yeah, well, and Tsonga. I mean, he won the 250 in Montpellier. He had a good.
He's
run.
only lost to Djokovic and Daniil Medvedev. Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing bad about that whatsoever. He's had an incredible season thus far.
So again, in this tournament, Tsonga is one of my favorites.
Yep.
I think him matching up in Shapovalov in the quarters is Tsonga. I really do.
I like Tsonga in that
I
one.
think
Borna George playing his first tournament since the Australian Open.
I don't know. I just am not
3 to
convinced.
4 weeks.
I'm not convinced about the indoor hard with him. Again, he's one of my guys to watch this year to make a big jump. He
had a bit of a disappointing Australian Open, losing to Luca Pouille.
Definitely. I mean, but Luca Pouille played a great match. You can't. He was in that match. So again, he is not possibly my favorite. I think again, I like Tsonga, and I like Tsitsipas. I don't think Monfils. Again, what you have to think about is the what's it called? From tournament to tournament. So Monfils has played 2 tournaments in a row now.
Yeah.
So what is that called? I'm blanking. But Monfils is going to be tired coming in. Fatigue. Residual fatigue from tournament to tournament.
Yeah.
And it's tough because he won the tournament. Now he flies down to Marseille. And different court speed, different conditions. I like Tsitsipas personally to take this tournament to, and I would like to see Tsonga too. I think Tsonga coming back this year is definitely.
I think whoever wins that Shapovalov Tsonga match will go on to the finals, and then it's really this top half of the draw. Simon could even get through.
Simon's not getting through.
He could get to the semis.
Yes,
and then. Well, I mean, I could even see him because Tsitsipas might not get to the finals or get to the semis. So
Tsitsipas
he could take advantage of that.
So we got Tsitsipas. That's my pick. So we'll move to the Delray Beach Open. You got Juan Martín Del Potro making his comeback, headlining as the 1 seed.
And so is Jared Donaldson, who's coming back after 6 months injury.
And then we have John Isner as our 2.
Braden Schnurr coming in with a special exempt from the New York Open.
And you have Riley Opelka in the draw. So you're looking at this, obviously, you got a lot of Americans. You have a bunch of Aussies. Nick Kyrgios actually just beat John, or did he beat John?
No, he's up a set.
He is? I think it might be finished.
No, he's up a set.
But so when you're looking at this, you have Tiafoe. These conditions very windy down there. Tiafoe won it last year, so some points to defend for him.
Yeah.
But again, you don't know what form one Martin Del Potro is. No
and
matter what
Nishioka
form.
is a very tough opponent.
No, again, it doesn't matter. It depends how one Martin Del Potro is physically doing. If he is fine, it does not matter what tennis he plays. In my opinion, I think he wins the tournament. That's all that matters. I think John Isner is not going to make it to the finals.
No.
Whether it could be anyone in that draw, to be honest. I could see Bernard Tomic, actually, believe it or not, progressing through that part of the draw. The guy, he says he's committed to coming back. The guy has
late last year,
unreal
he did
talent.
Very well.
Unreal talent.
He qualified last year for one of the indoor tournaments and won it.
He has unreal talent. It was Chengdu that he won.
Yes.
Against Fognini. Not indoors, that was outdoors.
Yeah.
And so I'd see him in the semis, possibly making a final. Believe it or not. He plays Seppi first round. Seppi, if he doesn't get through, Seppi's the toughest match.
And Seppi's been having a very good year this year.
I think Dan Evans too. He plays Tiafoe first round. He's coming back from his substance abuse problems, and he is someone to be reckoned with. He was 40 in the world at some point before he had his problem. And so it's been great seeing his comeback. He's playing great tennis. He qualified for Australian Open. Had a great match against Fed in the second round.
Yes.
So I see Dan Evans actually taking out Tiafoe. And I can see him making the run into the semis or finals.
I like Seppi in this tournament just because I feel like he's the one who'll be
Seppi's
able to...
a rock. He is so consistent. He always brings a certain level.
He's playing some great tennis already this year, and I feel like in his half of the draw, other than his first round match is very tough against Tomic, but I don't see anyone who's playing very good tennis who will be taking him out.
Yeah. So again, for me, I say when you're looking at Delray, I say look at Tomic, look at Dan Evans for possible runs. Not saying winning the tournament, but possible runs, getting some points, building up that ranking a little more. I'd say Dan Evans, Bernard Tomic are my guys to watch for that. So we'll move to the final tournament of the week, which is Rio Open, ATP 500, clay event. Nothing better in my opinion. Golden Swing right now, my favorite time.
Yes. Time
of year for tennis.
So Dominic Thiem headlines the draw as the 1 seed.
You have Fognini as your 2. Cecchinato as your 3. And again,
Cecchinato has...
I love Marco Cecchinato and his game. I am a big fan of his game on clay. Massive swing. So again, seeing how he adjusts to the hard court when he gets to Indian Wells in Miami will be interesting because if he plays a big server, he's going to be in trouble. He's not going to have time to get those big cuts on the ball.
Yeah.
But for right now,
he has
a tough first round against Bedene. Bedene's
and he's beaten Fognini already this year. And you guys,
Pablo Cuevas versus Diego Schwartzman as a first round, which is unreal because Cuevas had a war with Thiem prior to playing before Thiem played Schwartzman. You have Juan Ignacio Londero in the draw who just
qualified.
He qualified, but he had won. He had won the 250 in Cordoba, so you have to look at him as a potential threat with Schwartzman and Cuevas. Schwartzman's going to be tired coming into this. He also played a full 4 doubles matches in Buenos Aires on top of his 4 singles matches. And
that didn't help him in the finals.
I don't know. He didn't look like the fatigue was getting to him at that. Cecchinato came out and just bumped him. Just absolutely took him to the woodshed. And you have João Sousa. So
You've
again,
got Munar. Or even
I think Dominic Thiem, he doesn't mess around. No matter if he isn't feeling great, he's got to be the favorite in this draw because Marco Cecchinato, you never know what you're going to get. Never know. But again, I really like him, so I'm going to say he's going to show up. I think the Bedene is a very tough first round. Even Thiago Monteiro, to be honest. He's got a tough draw. Monteiro is a guy who always he gets the wild cards into the Brazilian events. He is a clay court specialist.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone on runs in Rio before.
He's won a challenger already this year on clay.
Guy just lives for clay court tennis. Yeah. So that I don't know about Kekinado, to be honest. I think this is a especially coming off the win.
Tricky, yeah.
You go, and I think he has to play tomorrow.
I think he's better than these guys, and I think he'll get through it.
I don't know. I mean, again, I say top. He does have that top 5 clay court tennis. I just think coming straight, having that travel and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm not sold on this tournament. I think at the bottom of the draw, it is wide open because Fognini has not looked in the form that he was last year. He plays Auger Elisme first round. You have a bunch of clay court grinds in there. Jaime Munar at the bottom of the draw who just beat him down in Buenos Aires. You have Cameron Norrie who likes to play these tournaments. He plays Dusan Lajovic. Even Leonardo Mayer who plays Jaime Munar. Yeah.
And Leonardo Mayer has had success on clay before.
Okay. So who do you think? I take team.
I take team, but if he's not getting through, I'm gonna go with Kekinado again.
I could see Cuevas taking off Schwartzman. I think Cuevas could go on the run in the bottom half of the draw.
Definitely.
Possibly winning.
I think he'll get to the finals. He got to the semis in Cordoba. He got to the quarters in Buenos Aires. He'll be able to get to Rio a bit earlier than most. And
yeah,
what's not to like about him right now?
I think Cuevas is my bottom half favorite, team top half favorite. Kekinado, I have no idea, to be honest, even though I just said he's top 5 clay material.
He can't when he's playing his best, definitely. No doubt about it.
Yes, I mean the patterns that he showed in Buenos Aires. I mean he when I say he took Diego Schwartzman to the woodshed, he took him to the woodshed. Like that was not there was never a doubt in that match who was winning that. So yeah, so that's what all we got for today. We'll come at you next Sunday for a recap of all this and previewing what's to come in the next week. Thank you for listening.